this is our show, this is our Noah's Army thing, and we've had all these people come out and do these amazing physical feats. Well, I wanted to do one too, but I got to thank some people, and I got to tell you how this came about and this little story about this whole thing. And then we're going to finish with Mike Bruce, and we're going to finish with Mike Bruce, who's an amazing strongman and a friend, but we're going to finish with Mike Bruce because of what he said, and he tells a hilarious story about Noah, but what's said about Noah and the relationship between us and summed him up and was very, very special, and it brought us both to tears when we saw it. So we're going to show a world record that Mike set a while back, and then we're going to show Mike's actual video for to finish tonight, and then we'll come back and wrap it up. But, so you've seen all the other feats, and I had to come up with one, and I've had one mulling around on my brain for a while, and I kind of wanted to represent some of the things I knew was going to go on today. And I only have one minor regret with this. I should have lit some of this on fire, but like if you knew how this took place and like how many people were involved and how much, it's just that thing. So you've seen me do these feats I call butterfly pulling a freight train. Okay, I do that because my dad used to tell this story, or used to have this saying all the time. And after my dad passed, this was sort of therapeutic to me to come up with these things for some reason. I just had an image of doing this particular feat, and it bled into a whole series of feats. And what they are is combination carry and drag feats, where you're carrying something, dragging something, and sometimes carrying and dragging and doing something else. Well, the saying was this, okay, and it's one of those like epic Southern dad sayings, and the saying was this: if I tell you a butterfly can pull a freight train, don't ask me how, just hook him up, okay? And that's a twofold thing, and part of that is don't question me, is what that means. Mm-hmm. But part of that is if I tell you something will work, just have faith that it'll work and go with it. And if there was ever something that in our lives played a good role of have faith that it's going to work, even if it does look like a butterfly is pulling a freight train. Now I'm no butterfly, but it gave birth to this whole thing, and I always thought that saying was so funny, and it was always we always laughed when he said it, and it was an epic thing, and Noah heard it, I know, and a million times. That whole it came out to. So I had this feat, and you've seen me a while back pull a semi. I had some buddies a cousin and a friend who had the semi, and they let me use it. And some of my girls that trained with me pulled the semi, and then I pulled it while carrying the yoke. And so I had an idea of how can we make this even more different or challenging or wild or whatever. Entertaining. Yeah. And we're going to only show you we have like 4 clips of this. We're only going to show you like 2. We'll eventually put a whole clip together where hopefully you can see. Like we literally got angles from front, back, side. One of them might be slightly hard to see because what I'm pulling is so big. You can't. It's stretched out like 100 feet. You can't. Okay. So what I'm about to show you is this. There are 2 clips. One is pulling 2 trucks. So I have a truck. I don't know if I've even showed this with anybody else, but I'll tell this later. I got a truck for birthday present. That you won't believe this story when you hear it, but I'll probably save that for another day because it's hilariously funny. But I got a brand new truck for a birthday present from a very lovely, sneaky queen who I had no idea. And who does that? Who buys a truck for their I had a truck that's really old. And it's actually in the video too. But it's so old we're spending money on it. And she found a deal, and she made a dealer cry. I've never seen anybody who bought a truck and walked out with equity. Her. Okay, I'll tell this story later because there's a whole 10-minute story to this, but we don't have time for that. Okay, so I don't know which one's first or second, whatever. You'll see both of these. Okay,
the one that's first should be the 2 trucks.
Okay, so I did this feat twice, and I wasn't sure we'd be able to do it because, most of the feats that I do are on the edge of, can this be done? Can we do this? Can I figure out how to do this? Or is it going to take me 100 tries or takes to get there? We'll see. So this started actually the day before, okay? And we bought the property that used to belong to my family. Been in my family for 160 years. We bought it out. And I also live next door. I'm surrounded basically on every side by cousins. Because at one time there was a 50 to 100 acre block that 165, 170 years ago belonged to my family, and it's been passed down, and kids and And we bought this place out. Well, my cousin lives next door, and between him and some of our friends and buddies, people that I consider family, it's sort of like a let's, this is a redneck MacGyver situation. Let's see what we can do. And so I went and talked to him, and he had some spare wood laying around. And I'm like, I've been thinking about this feat. Let's see what we can do. So this started the day before and ended up as like an epic half party one night, and the next night it developed into a full-blown macaroni and cheese and grilled chicken and who knows what party after the feat. Okay, so what we did is we built a wooden axe target in the back of my very old Toyota truck, and it's
2006.
14 years
We
old.
bought it new.
And 250,000 miles later, it's. I'm sorry, folks. It's late. Okay, so we put an axe target in the front of this truck because this is the idea. This is what we're about to see. First clip is 2 full-size trucks. Second clip is different. I'll show you. What I'm going to do is I have a 200-pound steel log. I'm going to shoulder that 200-pound steel log and hold it on my shoulder with a harness around my waist, and I'm going to pull those 2 trucks with that log on my shoulder while simultaneously throwing axes at the moving target in the back of the other truck in front of us. Okay? Now, I think the 2 clips you can't see, but in the middle of this target is a balloon, and the idea was to hit the balloon, so I'd actually have to hit an accurate target, not just hit a big wooden target. But what we did is we had 6 or 7 axes, and I threw it until I hit the balloon, and then I just kept walking and throwing as far as I could until I threw every axe I could possibly stick in the target, and then dropped it. Okay. The second clip, what you're going to see, is another friend of ours, a buddy of ours, a guy we consider family, Bo Beckman, and my cousin Buddy and Bo both work for the same company. And they drive heavy haul semis. They haul heavy equipment. And Bo brought his cab over, his semi-truck over, which has a crazy amount of flashing lights and all this safety crap on it. And between that and the extra chains and all the extra heavy-duty stuff, it's 25,000 pounds. And for the second clip, I shoulder the same log, same axes, and I pull that semi and throw the axes at the same time. Okay? And same thing, pop the balloon again, and then I just keep throwing the axes. So let me thank everybody involved, because it took like 8 people to do this feat. I'm doing it, but like between the people helping and doing and filming or whatever. So Heather is filming, okay, from the side. And then other people are filming from other angles. So the people, when I'm pulling out of, okay, my cousin Buddy, who's like a brother to me, and Bo, who's like a brother to me, they're driving different things. Buddy is driving the truck with a target in it, okay? His lovely wife, Shelly, is standing next to me, and you'll see somebody standing next to me acting like a redneck Vanna White, okay? And because I couldn't figure a way to hold everything all at the same time or whatever. So what she is doing, I'm holding this log and I'm throwing axes with my right hand. She's handing me axes as I walk and go. So she's walking along doing like Vanna White. So we've been teasing her about this all week, okay? Handing me axes as I throw. So behind me in the truck is, and when I pull the first 2 trucks, okay, the person steering the first truck is Tina Mitchell, who is our incredible family and friend, who brought us the whiskey and mostly the cookies, these raw liver cookies.
And walk the dogs.
And walk the dogs, which was huge because, seriously, yeah, the dogs would be like breaking the door down, and they literally, this would have evaporated hours ago because they would have knocked the whole world apart, and it would have been a thing. And our 90-pound bulldog and 75-pound Labrador Labrador, and our 6-pound Chiweenie. Is that you're telling me, Russell?
Yes.
You're telling me to shut up and
Wrap
show
up
it?
and show it.
I'm sorry, but this takes a setup, man. There was a lot involved. A lot. The day before, me and Buddy built this target in the back of my truck, which was an epic thing in itself. I'll tell that story later. Okay. Behind me, Tina's driving my truck, and Buddy and Shelly's son, or Buddy's son Kyle, is driving the second truck. Heather is filming. Okay. And then in the second clip where I'm pulling the semi, Buddy's driving the front truck, Bo is driving the back truck. Janine, who is Bo's girl, is there helping with some of the setup and filming. Tina is also filming from the front in that particular clip. Heather is filming from the side. And once again, the lovely redneck Vanna White, Shelly, is handing me axes as we go. And it's freaking hilarious. And it's awesome. And I don't think anybody's ever done it, so we're going to tentatively claim it's a world record. Like there's anybody who's crazy enough to try this. There will definitely be on fire because we were right at the edge of daylight, at dark, and you can see the trucks flashing and the whole thing. So, since it's my boy and this is his fundraiser, I wanted to come up with something I felt like was fairly epic. The entirety of this thing, plus I think the feat itself is pretty epic. So watch this, and then we're going to talk to you about Mike Bruce and show these clips. Okay, so I hope you can see it all. I know obviously the one clip is a long way away because it's literally 3 trucks long plus 20 feet between plus me and the whole. It's very difficult to see, and we would need like I don't know what kind of cameras, like a drone and a NASA satellite to see that up close. But we'll have better clips of it soon. And you can see in the second clip that nobody's even driving the semi. Bo is standing behind it. Specifically, so nobody can lie and say you had it in gear. You weren't put. It wasn't even, dude. There was nobody even in the cab until after I started to pull it, and then he got in just to steer, and it's not even on. And that one you can clearly see the axes being thrown, and you can see the most awesome redneck Vanna White that you've ever seen throw stuff or pick up axes. I mean, what you don't see is all the awesome people like Tina, who's become part of our family, and like thinking, oh my God, what about these rednecks? And what did I get into? And Heather, like keeping us all from dying, and like the filming, and like please don't, like hold on, let's get to. And let me tell you what she did. After the first one, which I didn't know if I could do at all, didn't know if it could be done. She walked back up off of that camera and said, "Would you be upset if I told you I forgot to record? I forgot to press record."
I'm a little bit mean.
She's a little bit mean, a little bit on the mean side. Now, the second clip, you see a cutoff because I did this specifically because I knew Stevie Shanks was going to take a shot of whiskey at the end. And Vanna was carrying a whiskey bottle, but it got cut off on that video. But we're going to do that. We're going to do the toast to everybody who's participated and a prayer for their love and safety, and then toast at the very